Now, managerial decisions are not easy, and if anyone tells you that it is, then they're probably not being honest or truthful. Now, as a manager, when you make decisions, you have to worry about the risk, the uncertainty, the conflict, but also the lack of structure. But today we're going to focus on the lack of structure. Now, the lack of structure is the usual state of what all managers will be in when they make decisions. So you have two types of decisions that majority of your decision making will revolve around. The first type is called programmed decisions. Now, programmed decisions are those that you may encounter a lot and you have objective correct answers, and most of the time they're solvable by using simple rules or policies or even numerical computations. However, non-programmed decisions, those are your new, novel, complex decisions, and they may have no proven answers. So as a managerial decision maker, you have to create or impose a new method for making a decision to handle that particular problem. So now that we have mentioned programmed and non-programmed decision making, let's actually compare them so you can better recognize which one applies to what situation. So let's talk about programmed decisions. So when you use programmed decisions, your problem is usually frequent, repetitive, routine, and most certainly may have a cause and effect type relationship. Now, the procedure on how to deal with that problem will normally deal with your policies, your rules, and your definite procedures that will help you address that problem. Now, here's an example. If you have to do periodic reorders of your inventory, or for example, let's say you own a restaurant and you have frequent or repetitive complaints from customers, which normally happens on a day-to-day basis. Your policy or your rule may be that for every complaint you hand out a free dessert. Now, I'm sure we all can think back to going to a customer service type industry, and when we had a complaint, they either gave us a gift card or offered us a free car wash or gave us a free dessert. Well, those are examples of programmed decisions. So now that you know that programmed decisions are for problems that are frequent, repetitive, and routine, and we normally can answer those problems in our policies, rules, and our definite procedures. Your non-programmed decisions are for problems that are novel, they're also unstructured, and there's a lot of uncertainty regarding the cause and effect relationship. So the procedure that you will apply, you have to be extremely creative, intuitive. You have to have tolerance for the ambiguity of your employees, and you got to have very, very innovative and creative problem-solving techniques. So an example of non-programmed decisions will deal with problems that you may need to diversify into new products or have diversification into the market. And as we all know, this comes with a lot of uncertainty regarding the cause and effect of you entering into the market or introducing new products into the marketplace. As a manager, when you make programmed decisions, you have a sense of certainty. You have all the sufficient information to predict precisely the consequence of your decisions. However, as a manager, non-programmed decisions, you have a level of uncertainty because you have insufficient information to know the consequences of those decisions. And you cannot estimate the likelihood of all the various consequences that may also come along with that decision. As we said before, it's that cause and effect relationship that you don't quite know or understand until the decision has been made. And that's also known as a level of risk. Now, risk is the available information that permits an estimation of the likelihood of various consequences. Now, the probability that every time you make a decision, you will be successful 100% of the time and you will never have a loss is unrealistic and unlikely. So as a good manager, you must be able to manage risk because you will not be correct 100% of the time. Now, because good managers prefer to manage risk, you must prepare for conflict. Now, conflict is just the opposing pressures from different sources. So, what do we mean by sources? Well, let's talk about two levels of sources to address conflict. The first is psychological conflict, and this happens between individual decision makers. So, let's say that you are a manager and you're making a non programmed decision, and you reach out and you ask your mentor or other leaders or other managers within your department, you could receive several attractive options that oppose each other. Well, which decision do you make? You cannot really predict the cause and effect. So, how do you make the right decision? Or you can ask the same people and you have no attractive option. It may not apply to your situation, or you do not perceive that it applies to your situation. That psychological conflict can also cause conflict between you or a different group within your organization. Now, there are few decisions that occur without conflict. So, as a good manager and a good managerial decision maker, you must be prepared to address conflict. I hope you learned a lot from listening to this particular video. And next, we will talk about how you can handle that conflict by working through the stages of decision making.